Good morning. Welcome to STAT W21, the online version of STAT 21, Introductory Probability and Statistics for Business Majors. My name is Shobhana-Intro and I am going to be your instructor for the course, or rather your guide, since it's an online course and you'll be doing the bulk of the work by yourself. I'll be available for office hours, we have a discussion forum, but most of it, well, you'll have to do it. You have to be self-motivated for this course. So why bother? Well, for starters, it's a prerequisite for Haas and for the Department of Economics, but statistics is all pervasive in today's world. You might have heard Professor Halvarian's quote from a few years ago. It was widely quoted. He's chief economist at Google and he's professor emeritus from Haas, the School of Information and the Department of Economics. He said the sexy job in 10 years will be statistics. And then there was Professor Jeff Nunberg, another Cal professor, who said on NPR the word of the year for 2012 is big data. So whether you have heard of these before or not, the fact is without a solid grasp of statistics, it's very difficult to face the business world or economics or even the newspaper with confidence. So STAT 21 aims to provide you with the tools you need for your work, as well as to be just an informed citizen and consumer. You don't need calculus for this course. The course was developed by Professor Philip Stark. It's a wonderful interactive textbook called Sticky GUI. It's online, it's free. And it has dynamic examples where you can play with the examples to try and understand the material better. There are some basic math prerequisites which are tested on the second assignments. Their assignments come sort of fast and furious at you. There are about 2 due every week. It's a fast-paced course. And you need to really keep on top of it. The course is roughly divided into 3 parts. We can describe it this way. The first part of the course is sort of basic descriptive statistics. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. The second part of the course, the middle, sort of the solid theoretical middle, is devoted to probability. And then finally, we move on to the fun stuff, which is statistical inference. This is where we try to understand what the data is trying to tell us. Descriptive statistics is tremendously important. Before you start to analyze your data, you need to look at it. You need to look at the data and get a snapshot of your data. So we could do visual snapshots like histograms, or we could do numerical snapshots. You might have heard of percentiles, mean, or SD, things like that. So these are numbers that summarize your data, because we, as humans, we can't really make sense of reams of numbers. We need to compress it and get some understanding. So that's what we're going to talk about in descriptive statistics when we look at lists of one variable, single list. We might also look at 2 variable, and or rather we will look at 2 variable data, where we look at the association between the variables, and we're going to also look at the most used, almost the most used technique, statistical technique of regression. Once we're done with descriptive statistics, we move on to probability, which is the reason we do probability is we want to move to statistical inference. And this is going to be when we go on a quest through the data and try to understand what message is the data sending us. How do we take a sample survey and try to estimate a number about the population? If you want to know, for instance, what percentage of the US population disapproves of the NSA surveillance, well, how do you figure that out? How do you take a sample? How do you rely on that number? How reliable are the numbers you get? In order to get there, which is sort of the interesting questions, we need to go to probability. Probability provides us with the structure, provides us with the theoretical tools we need in order to build models which we can apply to our data. And so we spend some time talking about probability, and then we'll move on. Once we have the tools that we require, we're going to move on to inference. And it's really fun. You're going to watch the Super Bowl. You're going to watch a whole bunch of commercials. I know everyone sits and watches the commercials. Well, how do you tell if a commercial is effective or it's really cute? You've got to do a test later, maybe some sort of experiment. You'll have a focus group. How do you know how to analyze the numbers that you get from these groups. So we're going to talk about methods of comparison, we're going to talk about testing, we're going to talk about sampling, we'll talk about examples of fiascos, things gone wrong. The text is full of case studies, and it's a very entertaining text, and but it's not easy. So I hope you'll have fun. It's a wonderful subject, it's a wonderful text, and I hope we'll enjoy it together.